Susan here from itsmysustainablelife.com. I'm here in the Northeast on a very hot spring day. I think it's still spring. Here in the Northeast, where I just have foraged wild violet flowers and leaf. And I'm going to be making a tincture today. So I just wanted to go over really briefly how to do that. It's so quick and easy. And it really brings a long shelf life to the herb or the flower that you're preserving. And it's absorbable into the bloodstream and really usable. So we'll go over how to make the wild violet tincture. And if you don't know how to identify wild violet, I'll put a link below in the comments of a video that you can watch that really shows how to identify and make sure you're using the right plant. So let's get making a tincture. So in order to make a tincture, you need to gather your equipment. I like to have a cutting board, a sharp knife. I also like to use a jar of size of choice. It really doesn't matter the size that you use. It's dependent upon how much of the tincture you want to make itself. So have a jar ready, have a cover. I love these reusable mason jar lids. I do recommend that you purchase good ones and don't go for the more inexpensive, as I found that the inexpensive ones. And you'll need an alcohol, 100 proof alcohol. I use vodka. It has no flavor and it's just easier for me to take. So, you know, the flavor thing's a big issue with me. You do want 100 proof. Now, all 100 proof, some people think they need to utilize like Everclear or grain alcohol in order to make tinctures. I find them to be too harsh. The 100 proof just means that it's 50-50. It's 50% alcohol and 50% water. So your blend is perfect for making tincture. You'll also need to harvest your plant material. I've gone ahead and I've harvested both the leaf and the flower. I don't put a lot of the flowers in. Really, the medicinal benefits come from the leaf. So let me find a good example here of a leaf that you can see. Violet, wild violet flowers leaf looks in the shape of a heart. If you can see that right there. So to make the tincture, all I do is I take the plant material and I kind of roll it up like you do with herbs, and I just very coarsely cut it. What this does for me anyway is it releases some of the oils within the plant. It makes it more readily to be able to be absorbed into the alcohol as it sets. And then you just put that plant material right down into your jar. When making a tincture, I like to have, well, I fill my jar pretty much with plant material. It's going to really depress down and lose some of its volume once you put the liquid in. But as long as you have half of a jar filled with your plant material, you should be good to go. So you just place that plant material again into your jar. The flowers also bring out a beautiful little hue. And then you cover it with your 100 proof alcohol of choice. And that is all there is to it, really. It is so simple to do. There's no measuring, no any scientific equations that you really need to think about. I just fill that jar, and I do like to leave a good inch headspace in my jars. This allows me to go ahead and to shake up the jar, which you'll need to do once every few days as it's setting and as it's really infusing into that alcohol. So cover the jar, I squeeze that on tight, and then I just give it a little shake like this. This is what you'll do every 1 or 2 days. And you're gonna store that into a dark cupboard that's fairly cool. You don't want it to be, extremely hot near a stove or any heat source like. You're gonna wanna label your jar, obviously, what's in it. You think you'll remember, and trust me, you won't remember. Not only with the plant name, but also with the date that you created it. And that allows you to let it set in that dark cupboard for anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks or longer. When you're labeling, some people will write on top of their reusable covers. I tend not to do that. I don't like a messy cover. So what I do is I use painter's tape. And I just take a piece of painter's tape and I place it. You can either place it on top of the jar there on the cover or right on the side. So I placed my painter's tape right on the side. I'll go ahead and label it with a plant name, Wild Violet Tincture, and I'll put the date that I'm going to go ahead and strain it. When you strain your material from your tincture, make sure you do it through a cheesecloth. This allows you to really wring out all that efficacious qualities and properties that you want from the plant. Then just cover it and store it. So again, tinctures, it makes it shelf stable. It makes it readily and easily absorbed. So you can take less of the nature's medicine, if you will, as it's readily absorbed into the blood. Now, wild violet tincture is great for any respiratory issues. So anything in the lungs, upper respiratory, mucilage within the wild violet leaves are amazing for soothing and coating sore throat issues, for reducing coughs, for bringing fevers down. So really anything upper respiratory related, it's wonderful to use for. So that's wild violet tincture. I hope you can go ahead and forage some. Make sure you follow me down below and subscribe. Hit that little bell if you like this video and found it useful. And as always, I thank you for joining me here on the hill at itsmysustainablelife.com.